lives on the line for this camp life. This camp life. This camp life. Yeah, we live this camp life. Yeah, we prophesy 365 for this camp life. This camp life.
Boots lace, you know we came to ride. All on your block, don't care about the odds. This truth is do or die. Come crown the kings and watch how we bling. We here 365. While you and your dreams, we on the scene, saving our people's lives. What a time to be alive when it's going down. I got both eyes on the same prize. If you're trying to build, then it's hammer time.
Casting down imaginations.
Casting down imaginations. Hey, shalom, sis. How you doing? You stopping by to get a flyer? Do you know who you are according to the Bible? No? You got a couple minutes? You got a couple minutes. You thought about it too long. You got a couple minutes. You thought about it. Once you did that, you gave yourself away. You got like 5 minutes? Huh? Okay, listen to this. God created 18 nations on the face of the earth, right? We come from the nation of Israel. Under the nation of Israel, we have 12 tribes. You said your dad is a so-called American black. He will be from the tribe of Judah. Is what the Bible calls us. We've been called by bywords since we came over here off the slave ships. We were deemed as African American, or black, or Afro-American, or Afro-Latina, right? Those are not our God-given names. Our God-given name is actually from the tribe of Judah, which you said your dad is from. Give me that Deuteronomy. Let's see why and how we came over here and why we identify ourselves with being from these tribes. Read.
Yeah. Deuteronomy.
You can start at 7 and 6 first.
Chapter 7 and verse 6.
I'm reading this so I'm going to show you how God thinks about us. Read.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
He says we are an holy people, right? Unto himself. Read.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
He's chosen the so-called natives, black Hispanics, right? Under Hispanics, you get the rest of the Puerto Ricans, you get people from El Salvador, Guatemala, you get all the rest of the Hispanics, right? So he chose us out of all the nations on earth to be his special people. Read.
Unto himself, above all people.
Above who?
All people.
He chose us to be above all people. What are we doing today in the streets? What are we asking for? What are we fighting for? Huh? You said hope? Right? What else are we fighting for? For what? For the kingdom, you said? For freedom? Okay. Are we also fighting for equality? That's what we're fighting for, right? What the Bible just say?
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
He says we're above them. So why are we fighting for something when God says we're already above them? You might think, why? Why are we not above them? But because they rule over us right now, which is true. They do rule over us. They do rule over us. Right? They control the systems. They control laws. Right? They control governments, which is true. But God created a special nation that is above all people. Why is it? What makes it above all people? Is because this nation of people are the only people who have repentance and can get the kingdom of heaven. That's what makes us special above all. Right? Read. Is that it for that?
Yes, sir.
Give me Deuteronomy 1. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So the words I'm about to read to you are the words that God has spoken to all of Israel. Give me verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It says, if it comes to pass, it shall not hearken. If we don't listen to the voice of God, all these things are going to come to pass. Read.
To observe to do all his commandments.
To observe to do what?
All his commandments.
How many commandments are we to keep, sis? Would you say? You go to church? You grew up in church? Say it again, not anymore? All right, that's a lot of us, right? So, in church they teach us the 10 commandments, right? So, under those 10 commandments, like I told the sister earlier, there's more laws, statutes, and judgments under those 10. For example, is it okay for a husband or a wife to step out on each other? No, right? Is it okay for humans to have with animals? No, right? those things are in the Bible under the laws of God,
Right.
but they're not in the 10 Commandments.
Right.
So when you read, it says all his commandments, it's not just talking about the 10 Commandments. It goes beyond those, right? Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these what?
Curses!
All these what?
Curses!
All these curses shall come upon you. Is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? It could be both. What do you think it is? What do you normally see when somebody says cursed or they've been cursed? Or how do we use it? It normally pertains to what? Okay, so when people put curses on people, are those good or bad? Normally. Usually bad, right? Alright, so in this context that we're talking about right now, he's saying all these curses shall come upon thee and do what?
And overtake thee. Curse shalt thou be in the city.
Curse shall thou be in the city. Are we, think about our people right now. Are we cursed in the city? All the cities across the United States that we live in? We're not cursed? Okay, who's getting shot down in the streets? Right? Whose stores get shut down? Ours, right? So the Bible's saying we're cursed in the city. Read.
And curse shalt thou be in the field.
Curse shall be. Do we own fields anymore? Are we growing our own crops? Having our own vegetation? We don't, right? Not anymore. And when I say these things, I'm not talking about as individuals. I'm talking about as a nation of people. Because we do have some successful people amongst us. But when I speak, I'm speaking as a whole, right? So when we're dialoguing right now, I want you to think about us as a whole, not on an individual basis, right? Read.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
When did that happen, sis? When did our sons and daughters be given to another people? Hand me that sign over there. Back in the slavery days, right? Were we sold into auction blocks? We were, right? Right? Like that. I wish I could hear you right now. I hear a little bit what you're saying. I want to be able to hear you so I can understand what you're saying.
We're being sold off by all those who control us and those who just have the ability to think that everything is to be given up. Our kids can get taken from us, and our women that get raped and taken from us.
True, right.
And they're the ones that we had to forcibly give up to children that aren't really ours, but are ours.
All right, true. True, right? Right. So, read it again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So it said our sons and our daughters, right, shall be given to another people. That goes back from then and it goes today. If you think about the child protective services,
that's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. So,
taking what's not theirs and giving it to other people.
and so what we read earlier about what? If we don't hearken, listen to, and do God's commandments, all these curses shall come upon them. So you said earlier it's not really it's us, but it also has something to do with them. It's right. It's us. We are the cause and the reason why these things happen to us, right? What we have a tendency to do is blame the so-called white man for this, right? Which we ultimately can say he has a lot to do with it. But if it wasn't for our disobedience in keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments, this would have never happened. We would have to be talking. We would be having a conversation around CPS, having our children taken and given to another people, having our businesses shut down, not having field to grow food so we can feed our families, right? This has everything to do with us. I'm going to show you. Give me verse 48. Read.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou...
47.
47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness.
Because we don't serve God with joyfulness. And what else?
And gladness of heart.
And the gladness of heart, meaning what? Being happy to do it. We started keeping God's commandments as a burden. We started like, oh my God, we got to keep the Sabbath again. Oh, we got to do this. It's another feast day. We got to do this for 7 days? Oh my God, I don't feel like doing this. We started doing these things as a burden. So God said, okay, well, if it's a burden for you to keep my law, statutes, and commandments, if you don't want to do these things, then what's going to happen? Read verse 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemy.
He said, okay, well, you're going to serve your enemy then. You don't want to serve me? You're going to serve your enemies. Watch this, sis. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
He says, because you don't want to serve me, you're going to serve your enemy. Who's going to send him against us? This is what we say. We can't blame nobody but ourselves. Who did God send?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
He sent our enemies against us because we didn't want to serve him. So he's saying, you're going to serve someone, right? Read.
In hunger.
You're going to serve them in hunger. When we were hungry, think about back in the day in slavery. Who did we have to go to for food? The white people, right? Read.
And in thirst.
When we were thirsty, who do we have to go to? The white people. Read.
And in nakedness.
When we needed clothes, who do we have to go to? The white people, right? Think about today, because what people say today, remember I told you, think holistically as a nation of people, even today, right? Who do we got to go to for water today? The white people still. Okay, I was about to say, do you know in some states, there's nobody you can't? It's just, right, if you go to Fred Meyer's, you don't own Fred Meyer. We don't, as a nation, own Fred Meyer. Right? Even if I go to a well, that well is somebody else's land that they own, that they can say they own. So I'm still not getting my own thing. You can't even collect rainwater in some states according to the laws of that city and that state. You can't collect rainwater. Are we still not under oppression and under slavery today? These curses still apply to us today. Read.
And in nakedness.
When we need clothes today, who we got to go to? We got to go to them. We got to go to the Asians. We got to go to all of them. Well, don't say Mexicans are our people, so they got to go to these people too. You know what I'm saying? Right. They're definitely us. So even today, right? We got to go to other nations, right? If you want to read that last one.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. Back in the day, right? Slavery. We're talking about slavery now. Who do we have to go to if we had to leave the plantation? Who do we have to go to? Because we can just leave free will. We had to go to our slave master, right? They had to give us what? Papers. If we want to go to another country, what? Okay, but think about it now. Fast forward to today. If we want to go to another nation, if we want to go to another country today, what do we have to have? And in that passport, what do? They stamp it. Weren't they stamping our letters back then to say that it's okay for this slave to go to this plantation? It's the same thing. So we can't say, oh, we're better off today than we were back then. I'm going to tell you the difference of what the difference between back then and today is. Back then, we literally had shackles on our feet, right? And in our necks. Today, we still have those same shackles, but they're not physical, they're spiritual. The shackles now in our minds. Because why? We believe in the white Jesus. We believe that Christianity is what's going to save us. The Bible is not.
Grandma said that on her, Jesus is not white, he is all black.
All praises.
Right? To scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.